$79,500. Bitcoin got that close to $80,000 yesterday, $500. And then it didn't. Now it's Saturday. The ETFs are closed. The Treasury desk is closed. And $4.3 billion of short sellers, the people whose forced buying pushed this thing up all week, are already dead. They can't buy it again. So the question for the next 48 hours is brutally simple. With every engine switched off, does anybody actually want Bitcoin at $77,000? Today, the receipt that proves this rally wasn't leverage. Cardano getting quietly adopted by a $1.9 trillion asset manager, and the one red name on my board. I'm the Crypto Crow. Let's get into it. Quick snapshot, then we go deep. Bitcoin, $77,023, up 0.2% on the day, basically flat, but up 22.7% on the week. The 24-hour range ran $76,601 to $78,766. Cardano, 22.5 cents, $22.46, up 5.4%. Best major on my board today. Up almost 27% on the week, up 31% on the month. Cap $8.42 billion, rank 18. Midnight, the night token, $22.06, down 1.9%. The only red name I'm covering. Up 18.6% on the week, but dead flat on the month. Cap $342 million, rank 123. Total crypto market cap, $2.62 trillion, and that's actually down 1.6% in 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance, 58.8%. Fear and greed reads 71. Greed. Look at that combination. Greed at 71, price flat, market cap red. That's not a rally. That's a rally taking a breath, and everybody's still standing around cheering. Let's do the honest version of this week. Bitcoin ran 22.7% in 7 days. Best week since 2024. Yesterday, it printed $79,500 and stopped. Not $80,000, $79,500. Three things did that, and they arrived on top of each other. One, the shorts got destroyed. Since Tuesday, more than $4.3 billion in short positions liquidated. $3.1 billion of it inside a single 48-hour window. That's forced buying. People who bet against Bitcoin having their positions bought back for them at market, whether they liked it or not. Two, the ETFs showed up with real cash. Spot Bitcoin funds took in $1.9 billion this week. 73% of the $2.6 billion that went into Bitcoin and Ethereum funds combined. Best week for those products since October of last year. Thursday alone was $606 million, the biggest single day since May. BlackRock's IBIT ate 83% of it. 3, the macro. The Treasury doubled its long-end bond buybacks after the 30-year yield hit 5.33%, a 19-year high. And the president spent the week telling Congress to pass the Clarity Act. Now here's the number that actually matters, and almost nobody reported it. Price went up 10 to 11%. Open interest went up about 4%. Funding stayed near neutral. Bitfinex's analysts put it plainly. Spot buying and short covering did the work, and leverage played a minor role. Translate that. This rally is not a house of cards. There isn't a giant pile of borrowed money sitting on top of it waiting to get flushed. That's the bull case, and it's a real one. So where does it go? My honest read. Analysis, not advice. Nobody has a crystal ball, and that includes me. Scenario 1, it holds. Bitcoin defends $75,800. Spot demand carries the weekend. ETF creations reopen Monday, and $80,000 breaks properly. There's roughly $3.6 billion in short positions sitting above that level. If it goes fast, and $82,000 is the next stop. I'd put that at 45%. Scenario 2, the chop. We stall here, fail $80,000 2 or 3 more times, and grind sideways into the mid-70s while everyone gets bored. Honestly, after a 22% week, this is the healthy outcome. Call it 40%. Scenario 3, the give back. We lose $75,000 and slide toward the $68,000 to $69,000 shelf. That needs the ETF bid to actually stop on Monday, 15%. Here's the thing I want you holding on to. The weekend is the test. Not because weekends predict anything, but because everything that pushed price this week is switched off until Monday. No ETF creations, no Treasury operations. And the short sellers doing the buying have already been carried out. $75,800 is the line. Hold it into Monday, and this was accumulation. Lose it on a quiet Sunday tape, and this was a very expensive squeeze wearing a nice suit. Cardano, best performer on my board today, up 5.4% to 22.5 cents, while the total market cap went red. And for once, the reason isn't a chart pattern. T. Rowe Price added ADA to its active crypto ETF. That's a $1.9 trillion asset manager. Their fund launched in July. The manager flagged Cardano as a candidate at launch. And yesterday, they followed through. I want to be careful here because institution buys coin gets oversold constantly. This is not $1 billion hitting the order book. It's a position inside an actively managed fund, and the size is small. But that's not why it matters. That fund has a genuinely strict inclusion process. Somebody at a $1.9 trillion shop had to do the diligence, write the memo, and sign their name to Cardano being investable. Once ADA is on an approved list, it tends to stay on approved lists. Story 2, the roadmap finally got dates. Cardano's governance body, Intersect, confirmed the Dijkstra upgrade ships in 2 phases. Phase 1 targets code complete in the 4th quarter of this year, mainnet by year end. That brings linear Laos, block producers publishing extra endorser blocks alongside the normal chain, certified by a stake-weighted committee. Plain English, more transactions per block without weakening the security model. It arrives as a whole new ledger era under protocol version 12. Phase 2 is the 2nd quarter of 2027. Ouroboros Paris, faster settlement finality as an intra-era hard fork. One correction, because I've seen it everywhere this week. A lot of coverage is attaching a 1,000 transactions per second number to this. That figure is not in the announcement. Don't repeat it and be a little suspicious of anyone who does. My read, ADA has been outperforming Bitcoin for 3 sessions running, and it's up 31% on the month. That's real strength, but it's still high beta. If Bitcoin loses $75,800, ADA gives back faster than Bitcoin does, every time. Midnight. And you know I hold night. Bags fully disclosed, weight my bias accordingly. It's the only red name I'm covering today. 22.06 cents, down 1.9%, while Cardano was up 5.4%. And look at the 30-day number, down 0.3%, flat. Knight went on the whole round trip this month and came back with nothing. So let me tell you why, because it's not a mystery and it's not a conspiracy. It's arithmetic. Just under 70% of the total Knight supply is already unlocked, about 16.6 billion tokens. Another 7.4 billion is still locked. Glacier drop allocations release in 4 equal 25% chunks, 90 days apart. So roughly every quarter, a new wave of people who got Knight for free can sell it. That is a permanent, scheduled, mechanical seller. It doesn't care about your thesis. It doesn't care about good news. It just shows up on a calendar, which is exactly why the good news hasn't moved the price. And there is good news. Last week, USDM, Cardano's regulated fiat-backed stablecoin, made its first native transfer between Cardano and Midnight. No wrapped tokens, no bridge custodian. The issuer locks and mints directly across VIA Labs' messaging layer, a regulated stablecoin on a privacy chain with selective disclosure. A business could settle a payment where the amount stays confidential and compliance can still be proven. That's not a cypherpunk feature, that's a finance department feature. And on Tuesday, Hoskinson said Midnight is targeting agentic trading capability before the end of this year. AI agents transacting on-chain. File that under watch, don't buy. It's a roadmap statement, not a shipped product. One honest caution. A $342 million cap with a scheduled supply wave is a hard place to be a holder. What I'm watching isn't the price. It's whether real stablecoin volume shows up, because that's the only demand big enough to absorb an unlock. Crow's Nest. Somebody had a worse morning than you. Let's find them. The number that ruined somebody's week. $4.3 billion. That's how much short exposure got liquidated since Tuesday. But the part that gets me isn't the money. It's the whiplash. 10 days ago, the timeline was unanimous. Cycle over, lower highs, capitulation, nobody's coming to save you. Confident, detailed, charts with arrows, same accounts, same feed. 9 days later, those same people are posting $100,000 targets and calling anyone who's cautious a coward. Nobody changed their mind. The price changed it for them. And that's the trap, because the ones who got liquidated weren't the ones who were wrong. Plenty of bears will be proven right eventually. They were the ones who were wrong while borrowing money, on a schedule set by someone else. Every liquidation was somebody's best idea that morning. Let's land the plane. Bitcoin, $77,023. It touched $79,500 and got turned away. The rally was spot and short covering, not leverage. That's genuinely healthy. $75,800 is the line. Holding is my base case at 45%, chop at 40%. Cardano, 22.5 cents, best major on the board, and a $1.9 trillion manager just put it on an approved list. Dijkstra Phase 1 by year end. Ignore the 1,000 TPS number going around. Midnight, down on the day, flat on the month. Good news, mechanical selling, arithmetic winning. Watch stablecoin volume, not the candle. Nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm a guy with a microphone and strong opinions. Do your own research. Size your positions like an adult. Never trade money you can't afford to lose. If this saved you time, the like button is free and the algorithm notices. Subscribe and ring the bell. We run this every single day at 9 a.m. Eastern, so you start your morning knowing what moved and why. Comment below. Does $80,000 break on Monday? Yes or no? I read every one. This is the Crypto Crow. Crow your coins. See you tomorrow at 9.